So, how do you make sure nobody attacks you? Well, one way is to build a weapon so powerful, so absolutely unstoppable, that the very idea of using it is just unthinkable. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're diving into the ultimate nuclear showdown, land versus sea.
And on land, the power is just immense. What you're looking at right here is a Russian Yars Mobile Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, an ICBM for short. Now this thing isn't just a missile, it's a true titan of the land, capable of launching a payload that can level a city, all from some hidden spot in a forest. Incredible, right?
To really wrap your head around the scale of this, just listen to this quote. Imagine a weapon capable of traveling halfway across the globe in less than 30 minutes, carrying the power to level entire cities. Halfway around the world in under half an hour. We're not just talking about weapons here. We're talking about the very bedrock of global power and deterrence.
All right, so here's how we're going to break down this incredible high-stakes duel. We'll start with the unseen arsenals, then meet the titans of the land and the ghosts of the deep. After that, it's time for the ultimate showdown, and we'll wrap it all up with the strategic chess match to see why any of this really matters.
Okay, first things first. Before we can really meet our combatants, we've got to set the stage a little. We need to understand the arena they compete in, and that's the complex world of nuclear strategy. It's all about the bedrock of deterrence.
So let's start with the absolute basics. What is a ballistic missile? Well, think of it like this. It gets a massive initial push from some powerful rockets, and then it just coasts. It follows this big, arching path, totally unpowered all the way to its target. It's basically a cosmic cannonball. And that cannonball can carry a normal, conventional warhead, or one powerful enough to wipe a city off the map.
All right, first up in our duel, let's talk about the original long-range nuclear delivery system, the Intercontinental Ballistic Missiles, or ICBMs. These are the powerful, ever-present titans of the land. So, with these land-based missiles, there are really two main ways to do things. The first is to stick them in a fixed silo, and we're talking about a super-fortified hole in the ground with hardened concrete designed to take a beating, even from a nearby nuclear blast. The other option? You make them mobile. Put them on these huge trucks or even trains, so they're always on the move, always trying to stay hidden.
And this is a perfect look at what that mobile option is all about. On the left, you've got a Russian SS-27, and on the right, a Chinese CSS-10. These aren't just trucks, they're mobile launch pads designed to be constantly on the move, hiding out in forests, ducking into tunnels, making them an absolute nightmare for spy satellites to keep track of.
Yeah, and this quote really nails it. You're not just looking for a silo in the ground anymore, you're looking for a moving needle in a haystack. And that's the whole point, right? This mobility is a direct answer to the threat of a surprise attack. After all, if you can't find the missiles, you can't destroy them. Simple as that.
Okay, so that's the land. Now let's turn to our second combatant, a system that takes a totally different approach to staying alive. I'm talking about the Submarine-Launched Ballistic Missile, the SLBM. These are the true ghosts of the deep.
And this is its home in the ocean. This is a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, or SSBN, specifically a U.S. Ohio-class boat. And you could think of it as a silent mobile missile silo, a stealthy platform that can disappear into the vast depths of the ocean and stay hidden for months on end.
Their biggest advantage is just pure, unadulterated surprise. A missile can literally break the surface anywhere in the world at any time. A strike could come from under the Arctic ice, from the middle of the Pacific, the Atlantic, wherever, and often there'd be zero warning.
And this really gets to the heart of why these subs are so important strategically. They are the ultimate second strike weapon. Because their location is a complete mystery, they are by far the most survivable piece of a country's nuclear arsenal. It brings us back to that simple truth. You can't kill what you can't find.
All right, so we've met our combatants. We have the land-based giants on one side and the undersea phantoms on the other. So now it's time to put them in the ring and see how they stack up, head-to-head across the most important categories.
Okay, round one, survivability. This is maybe the most important factor of all. It's the ability to take a punch, a massive surprise attack, and still be able to hit back. Now, those fixed silos for ICBMs, they're vulnerable because everyone knows where they are. But the mobile ones, very survivable. Then you look at the submarines. Their survivability is off the charts. Trying to track every single one of them at the same time in the vastness of the ocean is, well, it's pretty much impossible.
So let's dig a little deeper with this chart.
First up, readiness. Both are on a hair trigger, ready to go in minutes. No real winner there. But here's where it gets interesting, the trade-offs. Take precision. Land-based ICBMs get a slight edge, simply because they're firing from a known fixed spot. Payload? Again, the land-based guys can often carry more or bigger warheads because they don't have to fit inside a submarine tube. But then you get to the big one, cost. Those submarines are incredibly complex and wildly expensive to build and maintain. And that really lays out the strategic choice, doesn't it? It's a classic battle of cost versus survivability.
Now, if you're talking about pure, raw, destructive power packed into a single missile, the land-based giants usually take the crown. I mean, look at Russia's RS-28 Sarmat. Its nickname is the Satan II. It can supposedly carry up to 15 separate warheads. Now, don't get me wrong, the subs pack a massive punch too. A Trident II D5 can carry up to 14 warheads. But at the end of the day, they're always limited by the physical size of the launch tubes on the submarine.
So after all that, who wins, land or sea? Well, here's the twist. The answer isn't about which one is better. The real answer is about why having both is so absolutely critical for keeping the world stable. Welcome to the strategic chess match.
And this right here is the concept that everything else is built on. It's called second strike capability. And all it means is this: you have the guaranteed ability to hit back after you've been hit. No matter how devastating that first attack is, you can absolutely, positively retaliate with overwhelming force.
And when you have that guarantee of a devastating response, well, it leads to this very grim but strangely stable reality we call mutually assured destruction. You've probably heard of it. MAD. It's the simple, terrifying idea that a full-scale nuclear war means everybody loses. It would cause the total annihilation of both sides, which, in theory, makes launching that first strike an act of suicide.
And really, this quote just sums up the whole thing perfectly. These systems ensure enough of the arsenal survives to make a first strike attempt a bad enough gamble that it won't be seriously contemplated. It's all about making the gamble too risky to even think about.
And that's the key takeaway here. Having both land and sea systems creates this incredibly complex puzzle for any potential enemy. I mean, think about it. They'd have to figure out how to take out all the hardened silos and hunt down every single mobile launcher hidden across a massive country and simultaneously track every last silent submarine in the ocean. It's just an impossible task.
Which brings us to the real bottom line of this whole thing. It's not about land versus sea. It's about land and sea. They're a team. The different strengths of each system, the raw power of the land-based missiles, the stealth of the sea-based ones, they complement each other perfectly. They cover each other's weaknesses, and that's what makes the whole deterrent so credible.
But that leaves us with one last big question, because the game is always changing. New technologies are always showing up. You've got hypersonic gliders that could make land-based missiles harder to stop. At the same time, maybe advanced anti-submarine tech could threaten the stealth of those subs. So the question is, how is this strategic balance between land and sea going to shift in the years to come? Because one thing's for sure, this great game of deterrence never, ever ends.